Grace and peace, everybody. Grace and peace. I am so sorry that we are starting late, but I thank you all so much for your patience and your time. This is going to be a fun conversation, so I really want to get as much feedback as possible, get as much of your thoughts as we can muster on this evening. So, as we get everybody settled in, hopefully you got yourself a cool beverage. Hopefully, you had an opportunity to peep some of the links that are down in the description, several articles about this particular young man that we're going to be talking about on this evening. And of course, I got a video that I'm going to unpack about him as well. You know what? I realized I didn't put the links in the down in the description. I had them all ready this morning too. All right. Anyway, good people, thank y'all so much for hanging out with me on tonight. Let me put that link in there for y'all real quick. And thank you so much to Wanda. I appreciate it, Nakia, as well. Always good to see you, Susie Q. Thank you all very, very much. Um, actually, no, this is not it still. I thought of something about this particular case, and I've been looking for it. And you probably have noticed it if you've been listening to the discussion about this case and such like that. And you notice something about the school district and all of that, and or what you didn't realize about the school district. And we're going to talk about that in a second. Let me put this link though. This was a pretty good article. Here it is right here. Let me drop that in the chat as well as in the description, just in case you hadn't already seen it. You can have that as well to kind of keep up on what's going on in the story. I might go over this real quick just to give a summary because it's pretty short. This one's pretty short, yeah. So I'm gonna go over this one. Then we're gonna actually look at the video. The videos that the young man put on, the TikTok videos that the young guy put up, I think are really telling. So I'm gonna use those tonight to springboard our conversation. So before we get too far afield, thank you so much, Addie, for stopping by. Thank you so much. Hopefully you all had a fantastic Tuesday. Amazing that it's already Tuesday this week. I feel like a lot has gone on already this week. And all right, this is from yesterday. Just gonna make a quick change very quickly and replace that. I was running a little late because I went to junior theater award night, and it took a lot longer than I remember last year. It didn't take that long. So, needless to say, I had to go to President Firstborn's junior awards, and it just took a lot longer. And Lady Dear World Christian just walked in the house, so they're like having a battle to see who could be the loudest. Clearly, in the kitchen. So it is what it is. Thank you so much for stopping by. Patricia's in the house. Hey there. Good to see you, Patricia. Always good to see you at Servant's Heart. Thank you all very much. Again, I really do appreciate you all taking the time tonight to hang out with us. So, real quick, if you read the description, you know that we're going to be talking about the young man who lost his position, or rather, a teacher, a middle school teacher, who had some students taking down his hair in class, and he live streamed it. And subsequently, allegedly, he lost his role as a teacher because of that. And I do have some questions. Actually have a lot of questions about it, truthfully. And I am going to we're going to look into it. We're going to see if we can all make a decision and determine what actually might have happened and what actually is if the punishment fits the crime, so to speak. But before I get too far afield, I want to give a shout out to my brother Brian Shannon in the house. Good to see you, Brian. Absolutely, y'all. This is a great brother who really deals with some of the topics we're going to be talking about tonight, which is fatherhood and men being fathers in the home. Brian wrote an excellent book called Missing Pillars. And if Brian, you're welcome to drop that in the chat as well, or if the moderators could drop your link in the chat, it'd be fantastic. And I'd love for y'all to go check out what he's doing. Brian is a fantastic, strong Christian brother. He's an associate pastor at his church, but more along with that, he's very, very dedicated to seeing families stay together and to see men in their proper roles to support their families and such of that nature, to probably do away with some of the issues that we're going to see with this young teacher here who kind of sort of was filling in a role of a dad, if you will. So, Brian, I made you a moderator, so you're welcome to drop that link in there if you want to, sir. And so let's just talk about a couple things real quick. Number one, I am not mad at this young man because he has hair and I do not. So this is not a jealousy or envy conversation. I am a former classroom teacher. I'm a black male in the former as a former classroom teacher. I can appreciate some of the things that he has experienced as a teacher. A male teacher in education, that's a rarity. A black male teacher in education is a real rarity. In the lower grades, it's a unicorn. So definitely I can appreciate that. However, those things being true, I do want to point out some very, very glaring problems with this young man's approach. And it could be absolutely sure. It could be because the generational gap. Okay. I'm a retired teacher. He looks like he's almost maybe 2 or 3, maybe 4 years into teaching. Totally get that part. And I can appreciate that. The problem is there's still behaviors and professionalisms that must transpire. And I got some questions, and we're not gonna get too far afield because I think some of the problems that this young man experienced is really with his school. And let me see if I did this right. I don't think I did. Got it. Come on now. All right, now we cooking now. In 24 we cooking. All right. Teachers a viral TikTok video showing his students removing his braids in classroom sparks discourse. Now that's true. I'm going to say right now, emphatically, they did not fire this man because of that TikTok. They didn't fire him because of that. I can say that, and I don't even know the principal. I don't even know what school district it is. I can guarantee you they did not fire him because of that. I got some reasons why, and I'll explain those in a moment as well. So let's get into this article real quick, and because then we're going to look at the video. I think the video is even more telling. A teacher is going viral after letting some of his female students remove his braids. The middle school science teacher who goes by JQ or Jack Lee on TikTok is facing heavy criticism for broadcasting a live stream of the girls preparing him for his upcoming hair appointment. While some critics said it's inappropriate for the teacher to let the girls take out his braids, Lee told his TikTok followers that this was rewarding his best friends for showing good behavior in class. All right, so we let that go. I'm just going to read through it because I'm going to talk a lot about it during the video. So I'm just going to give you a high overview if you're not familiar with this story. Let us keep going. Let us roll, Jason. Lee responded to the criticism in a video he posted after going viral. The teacher said it's disappointing to see that people considered his interaction with the students too intimate. I'm just going to read through it. We will address all those topics in a moment. We as people have to abandon this idea that sexual intimacy being tied with getting your hair done, the teacher said. Y'all can see there's nothing suggestive going on. It's like family. It's like community. It is simply a wholesome, innocent, community-oriented activity. Okay? Again, I'm just going to let it go. We are going to go over that video, so don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. The video's coming up next, but let us roll. Lee also explained why he didn't prepare his hair for his appointment the night before. That Friday, we had a camera crew coming in to shoot a promotional video, and I was one of the ones being interviewed. He said I had to look presentable, so I had to take my hair out. I didn't have the time to do it all myself. As he continued to defend himself, he called out the critics for hypocrisy. All right, so we're going to get here. And again, I'm just going to read through it to give you a really good summary of what's going on. And then we're going to go ahead and really dive into it. So please know, I have some problems too. Don't worry. I know you got some things you want to say, and I want to say them as well. If I was a female teacher, those people wouldn't be in the comments saying, "Oh, this is weird. This is inappropriate," because me personally, think there's isn't anything weird about this. Because me personally, think there's isn't anything weird about this. People are saying, "Oh, that's too intimate." To me, it's literally just hair, he said. It doesn't have to be weird. Some people have never had cool teachers, and it shows. The main objective, Lee, keep going. The main objective, Lee said, is to build a strong bond with his students. I take the time to get to know my students outside of the academics because of caring for a whole child is what's important, he said. Amid, all right, so I'm gonna let it marinate. I know I'm just going to let him marinate. Amid the backlash, Lee also received praise for his teaching methods. Many of the followers wrote raving comments saying that the teacher didn't do anything wrong and he deserves praise for showing real love to his students. Lee added that that he strives to be the type of teacher who will have a long-lasting impact on the students. What I strive to do as an educator is to be a teacher I wish I had growing up. He said, I strive to be a teacher that makes my inner child happy, someone that my inner child will be proud of. I want to be a teacher that my students reflect back on 20, 30 years down the line and think, dang, that teacher I had in middle school was really the S. What do you think about this clip? Okay, and then that's the end of it. All right. I just wanted to read through it to give you like a really good high view. I thought this article summarized it pretty well. There is a lot of problems though. There are really a ton of problems, and I'm not trying to. He's going to make it a racial thing, so therefore I'm going to call out the racial disparities. He's a male in the classroom setting. There's just a lot of problems. I don't think that the young man was fired because of this, and I'm going to explain why in a moment. But you may have noticed something in the article. Let me bring the article back up, Jason. You might have noticed something. They don't mention the name of the school. And the reason I believe they don't mention the name of the school is because this is probably a charter school. If you're familiar with charter schools, there's the school system in your community. There's probably a public school and there's probably private schools. Public schools are run by the government, and private schools are usually run by a private entity or maybe even a church or religious organization. The hybrid between the two of those is oftentimes a charter school, where a public school will allow a non-religious entity to run a school almost like however they want to. They just have to have a charter to do so. Well, one of the standards, if you will, for charter schools is that they don't have to have certified teachers, or they're allowed to hire people who are in the process of becoming certified before other, like when I worked in Atlanta Public, you had to be a teacher. You had to be certified. You had to have gone through all the classes and have your teaching license in order to be a teacher. However, if you were a paraprofessional and you wanted to become a teacher, they would allow you to be hired as a teacher, but you had so many years in order to get your license, and it was called a provisional certificate in order to become a teacher. Now, the reason I bring it up is in a moment, we're going to watch a video and he alludes that he didn't have his teaching certification. I don't know that emphatically because I scoured probably 12, 13 articles today about this, and I never saw the name of the school or a representative of the school district or anybody of that nature. Didn't even hear the principal's name. Truth be told, they didn't even mention the name of the school. So I'm starting to think that it's probably a charter school, and they don't want to mention that it was a charter school because that might come into play the fact that they have some loosey goosey standards, and you'll hear about it in a moment. There's some things that should make your, if you have a student in public or even private school, you might, or if you are familiar with the educational system in your area, you probably are. It's probably going to set your radars off, if you will. So we're going to go back and look at that, and I just wanted to give you the heads up on why I don't think.
Meet Marquise White. At least that's what I think his name is.
All right, this is my video. I did cop some of this from O'Shea Duke Jackson. He did a great job of introducing this young man. I thought it was great, and I thought the music was fun. So that's why I used O'Shea's start of this video, but then the rest of it is my own. I do want to thank everybody who stopped through, and I saw a great, very gracious super sticker. Thank you so much, Julie. Thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate you. I'm glad that you're enjoying this. Hopefully this will be beneficial and edifying to all of you. Now, I do want to just, again, caveat, I'm not jealous because this young man got more hair than me. There's no jealousy there. No jealousy. All right. I'm also not mad at him for trying to be innovative. Okay. I was a classroom teacher, and I'll tell y'all all my little innovations that I did. Okay. I did a lot of things that were trying to be avant-garde and novel as a teacher. So I can totally understand what he's trying to do and what he's trying to convey. I totally get it. I'm not mad at him. I'm not disappointed in that. Hats off, if you will, to some of the efforts that he had. However, I don't think all of this, what we are being told, like what we were told in the article, and even how it's going to be depicted later on when he gets fired. I don't think those are all right. I think there's some other questions that we need to ask. But let's go ahead, get going. Real quick, can you just put a 1 in the chat? Let me know if you can hear this. I'll make sure.
Meet Marquise White. At least that's what I think his name is. He's a content creator from across the internet, and he has a few different names, but the one he goes by on TikTok is TH Illuminati N1. And he's a very talented content creator too. And he has a
All right, before I get too far, perfect. Everybody can hear it. That's what I want to hear. Thank you so much. All right. So, and yeah, like Outlaw just picked out something. A lot of the public schools, even here where I live, their elementary and the middle schools wear uniforms. So I saw the uniforms, and I tried. Trust me, I tried to screenshot the picture and zoom in on the logo. I just couldn't get it. I tried everything under the sun. But I just wasn't successful. But let me back this up. Let's get going. I am going to be stopping a little bit to add some color commentary. So let us go with no further ado. Let's go.
Meet Marquise White. At least that's what I think his name is. He's a content creator from across the internet, and he has a few different names, but the one he goes by on TikTok is TH Illuminati N1. And he's a very talented content creator too. And he has a unique pitch. Well, he's a middle school teacher. He's a science teacher. And by all accounts,
I'm going to stop right there. And we're going to talk about it when I actually see we're going to show the video of what he's talking about right there. He's doing, I'm sorry. He's just doing the most. I'm sorry. There is a level of, again, I totally understand the wanting to connect with your students. I totally get it. I totally understand wanting to connect with your students and let them see you as a real person, that they can relate to you, so on and so forth. But sitting on the table, and he's done this, you'll see it in a moment. He does a lot of things that are akin to this. Sitting on the table and not there's no separation. It's very clear that there wasn't a separation between the teacher and the students. There wasn't. I'm not saying that you have to be hoity-toity and Miss Primrose, but on the same note, they can't see you as basically a friend teacher, and that's basically what he was. He was a friend teacher. That's it. It was not. There was no separation between them, and you'll see in a second.
he seems to be very loved by his students. And as you can see on his TikTok page, he has a lot of traction. I don't know any teachers that have this many followers on TikTok. He has so much impact on his channel that even students imitate him.
Ask my students to impersonate me.
Okay, watch these things that his students picked up from him, and just some of them they're gonna be interesting. Let's just say it like that.
Part 1.
Where's your class? Alana, so we looking at feet? Hello.
Put it away.
Okay, that's one right there. I mean, there's some other things that are problematic, but he clearly throws things at students that you can't think that was going to go well. You can't. I guarantee you. And trust me, again, I'm a former classroom teacher. I used to try to do things avant-garde, try to be relatable, but still like that. And that's, if you're throwing things at students, you're guaranteed that's going to be a problem. And I want you to kind of keep score, if you will, and just ask yourself, do you think administration was okay with this? Because if they're in middle school, the likelihood is that they have a principal and probably 3, maybe even 4 or 5 assistant principals or learning coaches or various and sundry teaching coaches under them. So it's probably about 6 administrators, if you will. Do you think all of them were cool with this? Every last one of them were A-okay with this kind of behavior? All of them? Just ask yourself that.
Put your book bag in your locker.
Let me just put my stuff down.
I'll take it.
So the girl in the chair is supposed to be the teacher. Okay, that's supposed to be the teacher. Because the girl still had her bag, the teacher is taking the bag outside the room and hanging it on another door. That's how they imitate. So that's what he has done as the professional in the classroom. I'm just wondering, okay. And the administration, he wants me to believe that admin was totally fine with this behavior. Okay, not a problem.
Yo, everybody stop talking. Y'all about to blow me.
So there is a lot of camaraderie.
All right. So, the impersonating the teacher, that's probably fine. But some of the things that are showing up seem problematic. But do you also realize that he's live streaming this? The teacher is actually live streaming this to the world. It's not just that he captured some videos and turned them into a TikTok after the fact. He actually was live streaming them doing his hair in real time. And he talks about that in a moment. So these are not just behaviors that are done in a vacuum. He's literally showcasing them for everyone. Because one of the first pushbacks I want to say is, you wanted attention, right? You did this activity because you wanted attention. You got attention, my guy. Let's go.
Between him and the students. But here's the issue that we're talking about today.
All right, many of you may know that there's an eclipse happening on Monday, April 8th. I just found out that there are actually counties that are getting out early so they can go home and experience the eclipse. Unfortunately, we are not one of those counties, so we will be in the building. But my principal actually called me in the office today to tell me about it. He's like, yeah, I was wondering if we could, go out and do something with the solar eclipse, which I was already planning to do. But he was like, yeah, since, we're all going to be in the school, we should make this a school-wide thing. And I was like, yeah, that's a great idea. But he was like, the thing is, of course, we need the eye protection. So he was like, this is where you come in. And I'm like, okay, talk to me. I kind of already knew where he was going, but my principal was well aware of my social media following and also aware of how social media has helped me in the past get things that I need for my classroom. I've had people donate to a fund that enabled me or that allowed me to take my courses towards my certification, which I'm all done.
There he goes. I don't think he was a certified teacher. I do think this might have, I don't know this emphatically because it could have been a public school too. I think this might be a charter school, hence why they didn't want to mention the name of said school in the actual article. That's just my little tidbit, but let's let him go.
People comment that from time to time asking if I completed my courses. All courses are done. The only thing left to do are my 2 praxis exams. Anyway, back on topic. So I kind of already knew where he was going, but I was like, yeah, go ahead. He did tell me that
if he doesn't have his praxis exam, that means he does not have his teaching certificate. Again, I think that's, he took all his courses, so they helped him pay for, his college courses, which is great. No problem there. Or maybe he was in another field and he came into teaching, because many school districts do that, where they'll try to get somebody from another field, get them to pay for them to take their classes and get their certification so they can be a certified teacher. Those are some different options that are possible. But again, I'm going to just saw that, thought it was interesting.
they were trying to get parents to donate towards the cause of getting protective eyewear for the school. But he said, I already know the following that you have and how they helped you out. So he said he was wondering if I could, make a video asking if people could support our school. And at first I was under the impression that it was just going to be a middle school thing, because I was planning on doing something with my kids. I teach 7th and 8th grade. I was going to just buy a set and we just have to share with each other, because sharing is caring. But from the sound of it, it sounded like he wants 3 through 8 to be outside, because of course K through 2, they're not going to be worried about no eclipse, but 3 through 8 would be a little bit more interested in the eclipse. And as you can imagine, that's a lot of protective eyewear, and that's more than I can afford on my own. And I am making this video to call out for assistance if there's anyone who supports us teachers. It would be great if we just, had a fund or something, or just money set to the side for teachers that want to get things that enhance the learning experience here at school for their students. But, we don't have that because our government doesn't care about public education, but we can send trillions of dollars to fund genocide. But that's a conversation for another day. But yeah, if you could find it in your heart to support our school, it would be much appreciated. I already have an Amazon teacher wish list, which I will say thank you, because people have shown out in the past just an overwhelming amount of support. Every time I need something from my followers, it's crazy, because the people who don't even know you support you the most, more than your own friends and family, so on and so forth, which is crazy, but that's just the harsh reality. So again, thank you for that. All the assistance that have been given to me throughout the years of being active on social media. And this is me calling for help again, because I can't do it all alone. That's a lot of money. So I would like to get protective eyewear for my students to wear, and also, if we can, have some for the staff to wear as well while we're out there monitoring all the madness. That would be pretty cool. So that being said, again, thank you in advance for any and all assistance. I do have my Amazon teacher wish list linked in my bio, and I have some solar glasses in there, some different kinds, different amounts, and I also had these little like solar lenses, because I know they're going to want to use their cellular devices to take pictures, but of course with a regular camera you can't see it, you need a protective film. So these are little cars that have like a little spot for your smartphone so you can take pictures through it. But I would love to be able to provide protective eyewear to as many students as possible before Monday, so we can all go out and enjoy the experience. Myself, my students, and my principal, the entire school would be very appreciative of that. And again, it sucks that I even have to make videos like this, because you would think we'd have money for stuff like this that we can give the teachers so we can make the students' experience better at school. But you know, what do I know? I'm just a teacher. So with that being said, thank you in advance for all your help and participation. It's greatly appreciated, and we are forever indebted for all your assistance. Love you. Bye.
Okay, before we get into the infamous hairstyling in class, I see a couple of people mentioning professionalism. That's why my initial question is, do you think, like, just think about where you work and you have a rock star in your company, in your business, and he or she is really crushing it, whether it's sales or teaching, turning a wrench, cutting grass, whatever. They are a rock star, and everybody that they interact with performs at the highest level possible. Then one day, just out of the blue, just on a lark, this rock star does something really boneheaded. Doesn't cost them money, doesn't necessarily, it's not illegal, anything like that, but they just do something really, really boneheaded. Would your boss, would your company, would your business cut ties with that rock star after they did something just really not necessarily the worst thing ever, but it just was dumb? Would in the chat, would your company fire that person? Would they cut ties with that person? Now, mind you, again, this person is a rock star. Everything they touch turns to gold, so to speak. Would they? Just wondering. Let me just real quick see in the live chat. Would your company cut ties with them and separate themselves from them because it did something like, just again, uber boneheaded and whatnot like that? And this is the first time they've ever done something that was that out of pocket. Would they do something would they go that far to isolate and separate themselves from him? What do y'all think? Let's see. I do see some depends what he did. I see some no's. I see some depends what he did. Let's just say they did something, again, not illegal, not immoral per se, just really something boneheaded. Maybe I don't know, back their car into a light pole in the parking lot and hit somebody else's car. Something mistakenly backed their car and hit a light pole and knocked the car over. I mean, not knocked the light pole over and hit the company car or something. Or again, nothing super duper salacious, just something just boneheaded. They weren't paying attention, and they didn't put the proper heading on their TPS report or something. Just some super boneheaded, nothing really. Again, it depends on the severity of the issue. You do everything you can to keep your rock stars. Okay, got you. No, everyone makes mistakes. There's a pattern of excellent behavior, right? There is no doubt. That is the reliability in the teachers build. Reliability to students and builds meaningful relationships, which are an evaluative component of a teacher evaluation. But he crossed the line for sure. Depends. My business has ethics boards. Got you. What comes to mind when you hear and see grooming? Okay. I'm thinking in this regard, and I do want to mention here, I have no reason. I did watch a lot of his TikToks. I really have no reason to believe that he was involved in anything more than as he's depicting what's going on in this situation, that he's allowing these little girls to do his hair. He's going to talk about his siblings later on. And I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't think that it's right to assume something about him. I don't have a good reason to do that. it's okay because there's still a ton of other problems. I'm not going to assume that he's doing anything inappropriate with these children at all. And so that's why I'm not even addressing that part of his argument when he brings it up. Okay, so most people agree with me. So I want you to think about it right here. If this young man was crushing it and every one of his students was on grade level, they're crushing their science, it's rolling over into their math and language arts, they are really excelling. Do you think that his school district or school would have parted ways with him over this? Probably not. And most of you all probably agree there's more to this story than just what we see in this video. And we're going to see it in a moment because we're going to hear him explain himself. And there's a ton of problems here. Then we're going to watch him explain himself again and mucho problems, okay? Mucho problems. And then very last, we're going to watch when he actually gets fired and realize he's not telling us the whole truth. I'm sorry, he's not telling us the whole truth.
Let's go ahead and stir the pot a little, shall we?
You stir. That was it. He's stirring the pot. So you already know that you're going to get pushback. Sir, I turned this camera on because I knew that I was going to have a discussion about this topic. I'm not going to be surprised if somebody disagrees with me. That would be really silly. Like, well, you have independent thought. You're able to be an independent thinker and you can have an opinion contrary to mine. That's perfectly fine. Why are you surprised when people push back on you, sir? And watch what he does. The cope is serious here.
Last Friday, 10 minutes before dismissal time, I decided to live stream my students helping me take my hair out. There was quite the discourse in the chat.
You didn't have to live stream it though, sir. You do realize you didn't have to live stream it. You didn't have to live stream it, sir. You didn't have to do that.
Which had people saying this was inappropriate and other people saying this was completely fine. There was nothing wrong with what I was doing and people were just making it weird. So of course I had to bring this issue to the big stage.
So this is an issue that I noticed with him. Instead of dealing with this offline, and this is probably this generation, everything has to be dealt with. Everything has to be content. Everything has to be content. But it doesn't have to be. You didn't have to live stream this. Now, he's going to use it as, he's going to say that this video shows that nothing was inappropriate going on between him and the female students. Okay, that's fine. But guess what? You didn't have to do it at all. Watch.
I would like to represent myself in this case, Your Honor, if I may. Number one, for a little context, I had a hair appointment immediately after school and I needed my hair taken out beforehand. I would have taken it out the night before, but that Friday we had a camera crew coming in to shoot a promotional video and I was one of the ones being interviewed. So
okay, I'm sorry. That is the lamest excuse I've heard. He's gonna give a lot of lame excuses. Because they had a camera crew coming in and he had to be filmed, he needed to leave his braids in, but he was gonna get his braids done after school. If you've noticed, and you're gonna see many pictures of him, he's worn hats in class, he's worn do-rags, he's worn turbans, hoodies. You mean to tell me you couldn't have done a video with a hat on? You couldn't have done a video with a turban on? Because you've done it before. Why not? The braids are not that necessarily well, I mean, if you're going to be getting them redone, that means they're probably already unkept, if you will. So it wasn't like you're looking that much different. Why not just take the hair out and put a hat on? You could put a turban on. You could put a do-rag on. You've done it before. You could have had a hoodie on, a baseball cap.
To look presentable, so I didn't take my hair out. I didn't have the time to do it all myself because it would have taken me forever. So naturally I asked about 4 or 5 of my over 100 best friends to assist me.
This is, I don't know what number red flag we're on, if somebody's been keeping score on red flags. But as a teacher, I would really hope, and dare I say pray, if you are 20 years or older, that none of your friends are minors. I'm sorry. There's no reason for me to say my best friends, and he says he has over 100 best friends, are minors. Well, you can call them your children. You can call them your students, young scholars. But the idea that they're your best friends is epic problematic. That's how you got here, sir. I'm telling you this just as a former classroom teacher myself who wanted to do novel things. I mean, I've done some things that y'all will be like, yo, this guy was really thinking it up. And I was working hard at this, okay? And I totally can appreciate trying to be eclectic, trying to be capturing the mind and such of that nature. But sir, these can't be your best friends. And maybe he was just using it as a term, but it's kind of, when you see later on, I think these were his friends. These are not just friends, but these were his friends. I think it really was. Let's go.
Taking my hair out, and they all agreed. Number 2, this was at the end of class. This week we were doing STEM fair presentations. Since it was Friday and all of my students did an excellent job on their STEM fair projects and presentations, I told them if we get one solid presentation in this class, I'll end class a little early and they can have fun and play basketball, darts, or be on their phones or whatever. And during that time, my team would help me take my hair out.
Okay. You might not have noticed it, and maybe if you are of the lighter persuasion, I think little girls of all melanin contents have had braids before. Did you notice that he has like true hair care products? He had some kind of spritzer spray. There's tons of combs in here as well. I'm not saying that all of those are his. Maybe they were their little girls' combs, but all those little girls have braids in their hair. Did they actually have those combs, or did you bring those to school with the intent of having the students do your hair for you? I'm just asking a question because it doesn't look like a good look. But let's continue.
These were students from my class, but others were
There's a
students
green,
from other classes.
what's that, rat tail comb? Look, there's 4 of those rat tail combs with that long pick at the end. There's 4 of them in this picture right here. He had some spray. Did he bring that, or did the girls already have that? Just wondering, because it seems convenient that they had it and you needed it. Just wondering, especially like a spray, for crying out loud. Let me back that up.
Best friends to assist me in taking my hair out, and they all agreed. Number 2, this was at the end of class. This week we were doing STEM fair presentations. Since it was Friday and all of my students did an excellent job on their STEM fair projects and presentations, I told them if we get one solid presentation in this class, I'll end class a little early and they can have fun and play basketball, darts, or be on their phones or whatever. And during that time, my team would help me take my hair out. A couple of these were students from my class, but others were students from other classes.
So again, these are students that are coming from around the school building to tend to I think his name is White, Mr. White's hair. That seems problematic. I'm sorry. I don't know how you make that make sense. I really, truly don't.
I wrote all of them a pass at the beginning of the class period, requesting their assistance 10 minutes before dismissal. I told the teachers only send them if all of their work was completed and they had good behavior. They all met the criteria, so 10 minutes before dismissal,
And he's
they
live
showed up for
streaming
the
this.
job. My next point I'd like to make is if I was a female teacher, those people wouldn't be in the comments saying, oh,
No, that's wrong too. I'm going to tell you right now. First of all, I've never seen, and most schools are, dare I say, 80, maybe even depending on grade level. In high schools, it can be a good mix. It might be 60-40. But elementary school, you're talking 90-10, maybe 95-5, women to men ratio. I've never seen a student do a teacher's hair. Never. Now, have I seen teachers taking out their extensions? Absolutely. I've seen teachers while the kids are playing at recess, they're taking out the weave. I've seen teachers while the kids are at lunch, watching a movie on Friday, they're taking out their extensions. I've never seen a student take out a teacher's extensions. And I've seen a lot of different things. I've worked at a lot of different schools. So the idea and the notion that if a teacher was doing it, it wouldn't be problematic is dumb. But even more than that, it's irrelevant. Sir, what you're doing is not appropriate. Because guess what? The other teachers didn't live stream it. So even if there was Miss Bumblebee down the street or Miss Caterpillar down the hallway, if she was doing that, she had at least enough common sense to not live stream it, sir. That's where you went awry. But let's continue.
this is weird, this is inappropriate. Because me personally, I don't think there's anything weird about this. People are saying, oh, that's too intimate. To me, it's literally just hair. It doesn't have to be weird.
It's not.
Some people have never had cool teachers, and
It's not a matter of being cool. And see, please understand, you as a learning professional, your goal and desire should not be to be depicted as cool. When I was in high school, I was a troubled child. Let me back that up. I was in middle school. I was a troubled child. And there was a substitute that would come to the high school, and he was a former Army captain. He was serving as a substitute in my school district. And he would come to school and he would give me business all the time. He would cuss me out. He would straighten me out. And okay. And I hated Mr. Hogan. I did not like that guy at all. He would, Whitaker, he would give me the business because I was always doing dumb stuff. I was always in the mix. So when I moved on from high school and moved on from elementaries, middle school and came to high school, he was actually a teacher at the high school. And Mr. Hogan gave me the business all the time. All the time. He gave me the business every time he saw me. He was not letting me get away with being subpar. I never, under any circumstances, said James Hogan was cool. I never said he was cool. I said a lot of other things that were not appropriate, but I never said James Hogan was cool. But you know what I knew? James Hogan had my best interest at heart. He wanted the best for me. And he was one of the reasons why I finally decided to go to college and did actually go to Morehouse because of his encouragement. He was a Howard graduate. But I was part of my move to go to college because James Hogan always put his foot up my butt. Always. Never, but I never, ever, ever. And I don't think until we got older, he ever shook my hand. I don't think we ever hugged. And matter of fact, truth be told, he actually invited me and my family to church. And he was a deacon at my church. And he was just your run-of-the-mill Baptist deacon, cuss you out on Monday through Saturday, singing Praise the Lord on Sunday. Just as hypocritical as today is Tuesday. But you know what, though? I never hugged that man until I graduated from high school. Never did. But James Hogan had my best interest at heart. I never thought he was cool. I never thought that he was cool. I always knew that James Hogan had a standard that I needed to rise up to. He never came down to it. He never sat there and talked about the stuff that we were talking about. If he saw us at lunch, he never lowered himself. He was always above us. And I knew that if I wanted to connect with James Hogan, I would have to rise up, not that he was going to come down. What is this young man doing? Because James Hogan would never have done this.
Shows. I personally believe that building authentic relationships with students is paramount in being an effective teacher. I make sure my students know and can feel that I care about them beyond the schoolwork and all the stuff that I have to make them do.
James Hogan cared about me, and he cussed me out when I was acting a fool. He would call my mom. He would straighten me out if I was acting a fool. I never doubted that James Hogan cared about me, and I never did his hair. I'm just saying.
I take the time to get to know my students outside of academics because
James Hogan knew me. He invited me and my family to church together. He was a deacon at my church. I knew his wife. I knew Vera. I knew his family, and never did hair. Never did.
caring for the whole child is what's important. Some of these students have been with me since I was a substitute 4 years ago. They see me as a big brother or a father figure, as some of them say.
There we go. A big brother or a father figure. He can't be a father figure because you're going to hear him in a moment talk about what his opinion is about parenting, and this is super problematic. So his opinion of parenting is a whole nother game. I mean, that could be a whole nother show, literally. But they see him as a big brother. I'm sorry. That's exactly why they're doing his hair.
And me, I don't want kids of my own, so all of these kids are literally my children. In the case,
isn't it adorable? He just said he doesn't want his own kids, but he can tell me as a parent, he can tell you as a parent how you should move as it relates to your child. Talk about arrogance. Talk about pride. Talk about that. That's some foolishness right there. You're not a parent, but you know what's better, how to raise children, than the parents that actually birthed and sired the children? I don't know how that works.
you're wondering about their parents, most of them follow me on social media and always talk about my videos with their kids. They always tell me that they're so grateful that their kids have someone like me in their life. In my admin, they're well aware of my social media presence and they love my videos.
But please understand, I guarantee you, as sure if we were able to find out what really happened with this quote unquote firing, some of those parents that followed him on social media, the admin that's cool with his videos, I promise you they're not cool with those videos. I promise you, there's no way. You can't tell me that all of the administration is okay with this and then you get fired for one incident. I'm sorry, it just can't happen like that. And you kind of already allude to the fact that that you've been getting pushback about being on social media. I'm sure the first time your principal found out you were on TikTok doing this in class that he wasn't cool or she wasn't okay with it. So you can't pretend like, oh, well, everybody's been okay with it from the beginning. That's not the case. It can't be. They had to have some pushback. And I think that's fair to assume that they did push back. Maybe you won them over. Maybe you won 2 or 3 over, but I'm sorry, you didn't win everybody over. You couldn't have.
To me, this is just another wholesome moment that I'm having with my kids that I was fortunate enough to catch on film. Since I'm a science teacher, one thing that I teach my students about is symbiosis. Symbiosis deals with the relationships between organisms. The type of relationship that I like to foster in my class is mutualism, or mutualistic relationship, which means both organisms benefit from the exchange. So when my students have good behavior, complete all their assignments, and do everything that a scholar is supposed to do, I reward them with downtime and just time to just be a kid, be on their phones, play games, gossip, so on and so forth. My students and I work hard and we play harder. I'm fortunate enough to have students that feel safe and comfortable around me, safe to come to me with their problems.
And please understand, you can have an environment where students can be safe. You can have an environment where students feel loved and appreciated, and they don't have to do your hair. I for the longest time, as a classroom teacher, the rule was we don't hug. So you could not roll up on me, especially if you're sitting down and a little kid or 7-year-old comes and wants to hug you. We don't hug, Mr. Whitaker. We don't hug. Now you can ask permission, we can shake hands, or you can walk up to me, we can do a little fist bump thing, but we don't hug. We don't do that. And it doesn't matter. No, I don't do that. That's okay. It's perfectly fine. Nothing's wrong with that. Now, that being the case, you still know that if something goes left, Mr. Whitaker has your back. Mr. Whitaker cares about you. Mr. Whitaker is concerned about you. You just don't touch Mr. Whitaker. That's it. That's all it is. That's not anything creepy. That doesn't have to be wrong or bad. Just like on the same note, you don't have to allow them to play in your hair in order to demonstrate that you care about them. I would hope that they knew that you cared about them because you treated them correctly like human beings. Like that's, again, we don't have to do like either you hate them or you let them play in your hair. Like that doesn't make sense.
Their frustrations. They come to me seeking guidance and wisdom, or come to me simply to chill and hang out because they know that they have a safe space to be themselves around me. What I strive to do as an educator is be the teacher I wish I had grown up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot. He does use some bad language in here. And in the next clip, he does use some language. I was starting to try to delete them out, but I got distracted. So I apologize. There is some bad language in some of these videos, some of these clips, and he's about to use a word in a moment. I apologize about that. Totally forgot. Sorry.
I strive to be the teacher that makes my inner child happy, someone that my inner child will be proud of. I want to be the teacher that my students reflect back on 20, 30 years down the line and think like, dang, that teacher I had in middle school, he was the shit. No further questions, Your Honor. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. You think this was inappropriate or people were making something out of nothing? And although you are entitled to your opinion, all I ask is that you be respectful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. And now he's going to get into defending his situation. That because you want to be authentic with your children, you tell them the truth and you're honest with them. And you tell them exactly what is, like you're failing this class. And if you don't get this homework in, this is what your result's going to be. You give them the truth and you're honest with them. And you demonstrate that you're concerned about them in that regard. You don't have to let them play in your hair. The idea that it's one or the other is really silly. Like, oh, you can't be authentic if you don't allow them to do this and other. Because you're going to hear in a moment, like his students were like text messaging him. never had my teacher's phone number. I, I don't even understand, like, what would be a scenario that I would have my teacher's phone number. And I'm friends with with teachers that taught me in high school on Facebook now. I ain't got their phone numbers now. And I'm a whole grown man. Like, why do you need their phone numbers? I don't get it. And again, there's some boundary crossing that is going on here that I just don't think is appropriate. And it brought him to the situation where he's now looking on the outside looking in. And again, I don't think that the problem is that the kids was doing his hair. I don't believe that's the problem. I believe there was far more other incidences that have compiled and piled up, and the school said, we need to cut ties with you now because it's starting to look bad. It's going to look bad on us because we allowed you to live stream. Because again, he's been live streaming for a while. So they allowed him to live stream. And I know somebody said something about without your permission. Most schools, even when I was early years of teaching, they would do things like a media release form. So if the school photographer, the school district photographer came in and they took a picture, they want to use your kid's picture in a promotional, you've already given permission. I'm sure they have something like a social media form now. And goodness gracious, maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But I promise you, not every teacher was cool with that. Not all the admin was okay with that. And definitely not all the parents. I know not all the parents. So I think he's misrepresenting this situation. And you're going to hear in a moment how low he's considering the parents' pushback. Because again, he himself is not a parent. And he says he doesn't want to be a parent. He has no desire to sire children, but he can tell you as a parent, you as a father or mother, what is right, what is wrong, what is the proper way to deal with children. And he himself doesn't have any. I'm sorry, that doesn't work.
Let's go ahead and start clearing some people. Start off with this gentleman right here. You're letting your daughters play in a grown man's head. God forbid I had kids, but if I had a daughter with a teacher like myself, with a good heart, good spirit, sound mind, no, I would not mind if they took his hair out. That's what.
Why don't you just take care of it yourself, sir? And this is something else. Like, they're saving you money at the beauty salon where you would get your hair braided, or at the braid shop where you were getting your hair braided, right? Did you pay them for this? Did you compensate them for how they saved you money? I don't know. Like, again, this really seems like a very low understanding of what is right and what's wrong. Somebody asked about professionalism. Somebody talked about the proper boundaries and barriers between teacher and student. These things are nowhere to be found. Listen to how he's talking. Watch.
Little girls like to do. They like to do hair and do nails and makeup. I have 5 little sisters. You bet your ass I done had a wig on my head before, had a whole lace front. I done got my nails painted, eyebrows done. Bro, this is what they do.
And listen to what he said. He's had a wig on, he's got his eyebrows done, makeup on, he's had his nails painted. Watch what he says next.
As a father, I would even let my daughter do those things. Like if she wanted to paint my nails pink, or freaking put a wig on me, or do my hair, or put makeup on me, I'm going to do every single one of those things. You know why? Because I'm secure in my masculinity.
That's not a secure masculinity thing, sir. You're literally showing your daughter that men wear makeup, that men wear makeup, that men wear wigs. You're showing her that it's okay, and you're saying that you're masculine and that you're secure in your masculinity, all while showing her and behaving unmasculine. Not saying that you gotta be, walk around here like a troglodyte, dragging your knuckles on the ground. But on the same note, sir, explain to me why it's okay for you to get your nails painted. Don't they have a sister? Don't they have a mama for that? Don't they have aunts and dolls for that? Why they gotta dress you up? Why they gotta do that to you, sir? And then you say that I'm not secure in my masculinity? Sir, I dare to say that you are not only not secure in your masculinity, you're flaunting your insecurity in your lack of masculinity. Let us continue.
That's one thing that I think is stumping a lot of guys, a lot of grown men today, is they are not secure with themselves and they project their own insecurities onto others. Everything doesn't have to be weird. It's even the way you worded this question. Read this. You letting your daughters play in a grown man's head. Do you see how you're already trying to spin that? That's very telling of what you have going on upstairs.
No, he's actually saying that the behavior is inappropriate, and he's calling it playing in somebody's hair. It's actually more shorthand than anything else. But so because he said playing in her hair, playing in a grown man's head, that's not that makes it. I'm sorry, because he said playing in a grown man's head, that's what negates what he said, not what you're actually doing. Okay.
The people have to abandon this idea of, sexual intimacy being tied with getting your hair done.
I don't think anybody did that. There's not a lot of people that I heard say that it was that S was related to it. They were saying that your behavior is not professional. Now, I totally understand why people would say that, and I'm not arguing against that. I'm just saying that I'm not saying that it had anything to do with intimacy with a child. I don't think that's his deal, and for goodness gracious, I would not accuse him of that. What I am saying, however, is that your professionalism is garbage. Your discernment is trash. Your professionalism is non-existent. Sir, let us go.
People have this view because typically you're intimate in a sexual manner with someone who does your hair. Automatically.
That's dumb, because barbers do people's hair. Nobody's going around here, and I don't think any barber is going around here getting accused of being intimate. And I've had male and female barbers in solo studios and barber shops. I don't think anybody said, "Oh, you're touching my hair. Let's go do the hokey pokey in the back." Nobody's saying that, sir. That's just dumb. But you're saying that.
This whole hair video is going to cause some people to be like, "Oh, where's that? That's weird." But again, it's very telling of your own state of mind. For you to watch a video like that, literally had the camera set up, protect myself, protect my students.
Again, the nose blindness. Let me back that up just a little smidgen. The nose blindness that he said I had the camera set up to protect myself and protect my students. There's a third option, right? Not do it. Then you don't have to worry about it. There you go. There you go. You don't have to do it. You don't have to do that. You could say, hey, I'll wait to the end of the day to get my hair done. I'll just have to wait a little extra longer, take an extra hour for Shaniqua to take out my braids. But that's not the place to be doing that. And again, I'm pretty confident that he's done this before. And I think he's probably even been called on the carpet about it before. And when he decided to live stream it, that's when he got in trouble with his administration. He says his admin came in and they were A-okay with it. I don't think that's true, because it can't be true, because if they fired you soon after this, why were they okay with it? How were they okay with it? And then they later on fired you. Something was wrong with that. And again,
Intimacy being tied with getting your hair done. People have this view because typically you're intimate in a sexual manner with someone who does your hair.
That's not
automatically true. This whole hair video is going to cause some people to be like, "Oh, where's that? That's weird." But again, it's very telling of your own state of mind. For you to watch a video like that, literally had the camera set up, protect myself, protect my students. Y'all can see there's nothing suggestive going on. It's like family, it's like community, as people were saying in the chat. This is simply a wholesome, innocent, community-oriented activity. As people mentioned, hair is very important in Black culture. We connect and we bond through our hair. And just like I said, little girls love to do hair. Bro, they jumped at the opportunity to help take my hair out and showcase their skills, their talents, and their abilities. Because a lot of them, they do hair. They got little side hustles. They do nails. They do nails, hair, and tracks. What's up? And I'm going to support Black business and support my students every time.
This dude is literally saying he's supporting Black businesses by letting the little girls take his braids out. It's fair to say at this point, we've now lost any semblance of a sound, cogent argument. He literally just said he's supporting Black businesses by letting the little girls do his hair. And guess what? He ain't pay them. So how are you supporting Black businesses? I don't understand this. I don't understand this. And I want to give him graciousness. I want to be gracious to him. But sir, you don't even make sense. And you use the word bro too much too, by the way. You don't even make sense. This is not a cogent argument. And this is not somebody who's taking responsibility and recognizing that I, as a professional, must behave at a certain level to be considered professional. That's just the reality of the matter. There's no delineation. There's nothing separate. You wouldn't want your doctor behaving like him. You would not expect your tax accountant to behave like this young man. There's got to be a delineation. Now, again, we need to bring back the honor and the respect of the teaching role and position. But, sir, this is not helping it at all. This dude is literally live streaming it and then complaining that people had pushback. But you wanted attention, sir. You wanted attention. You got attention. Now, you can't be upset that you got the attention that you didn't necessarily want. This is the situation when they say, I want all of the smoke. I want all the smoke. Sir, you wanted the smoke and you got all of the smoke.
Every time. Someone also mentioned, oh, I would love to see some of your guy BFFs in the video instead of just your girl. Bro, do you actually think middle school boys are trying to help their male teacher take his hair out? My sister, what?
Notice what he said. And I'm going to back it up again because I don't think y'all caught it. He said, do you think my male students would be interested in helping their male teacher take out his braids? But you said there was nothing wrong. You said there was nothing intimate. You said it was nothing, it was all wholesome and community, right? So then they should. You should have just as many Ray Rays and John Johns taking out your hair as you have Shaniquas and Raekwondas. They should be the exact same. I'm just saying. Go back and listen to what he said.
BFFs in the video instead of just your girl. Bro, do you actually think middle school boys are trying to help their male teacher take his hair out?
What's the problem?
My sister, what? You only saw girls taking out my hair because only girls wanted to do that. No guys were like, oh, Mr. White, can you I want to take your braids out.
Why not, though? There's nothing wrong with it, though. There's nothing wrong. Sir, there's nothing wrong. He said that, right? I believe he did say that. I'm just wondering.
Bro,
Community.
Middle school boys are not on that. They was on the basketball court. They were on the dartboard. They weren't worried about my hair. I think of some other things people were saying in the comments. Oh, this is so unprofessional. What if visitors come into the school? What does the administration think? Where's the admin? What about the parents? What do they think? Haha. Oh, this is how it starts. They start doing stuff like this just to get comfortable, and then they start trying more. I hate the fact that simply because there are incidences of teachers taking advantage of minors, that there's just this view that, oh, all teachers are on that type time just because of their close-knit relationships with their students. Not all teachers are sick in the head trying to go after minors. Even if it isn't the teacher, what if the girl basketball court? They were on the dartboard. Sorry. They weren't worried about my hair. I think of some other things people were saying.
Okay, I'm back. Okay, good. He gives four. He does this big regurgitation of rebuttals. He talks about admin, then parents, then this, that, and other. He talks about a lot of different topics, but he only addresses one of those at the end. I don't think that he's trying to be intimate with children. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Again, I looked at a lot of his TikToks. He just seems like an extremely young man that's that's been influenced by society that we're in today, which is basically main character syndrome, which is basically the idea that you always got to record everything. Everything is content, always content all the time. So I don't think anything about that. So I'm not going to assume anything about that, nor am I going to disparage that young man. He's got enough problems anyway. However, he doesn't seem to realize or appreciate that he's brought this problem on himself. You don't have to have girls doing your hair or boys. You can sit right there and do your own hair while the kids are playing. You can just take out your braids. You could have done that. Sure, it would have taken a long time. Absolutely. But would it have been better to take a long time than now take a long time trying to find another job? I'm just wondering. I'm just asking questions. But then even more than that, you didn't have to live stream it, sir. That was your decision to live stream it. That was your decision, and you wanted attention, and you got attention. You can't be mad, upset, or disappointed that you got the attention that you necessarily didn't want. That's not, you can't request the certain type of attention. You can't put out a request for that. This is not a build your own adventure.
In the comments. Oh, this is so unprofessional. What if visitors come into the school? What does the administration think? Where's the admin? What do they think? What about the parents? What do they think?
What do they think?
Oh, this is how it starts. They start doing stuff like this just to get comfortable, and then they start trying more. I hate the fact that simply because there are incidences of teachers taking advantage of minors, that there's just this like view that, oh, all teachers are on that type time just because of their close-knit relationships with their students. Not all teachers are sick in the head trying to go after minors. Even if it isn't the teacher, what if the girls try to make a move? Bro, I'm rooted enough in my morals and ethics that in the rare case a student does overstep the boundaries that's there, because people are saying, oh, there's no boundaries because he was getting his hair done. Bro, I got boundaries. You need to have boundaries just as a human, but...
What are your boundaries, sir? My boundary was we don't hug. What is your boundaries? I would love to know. You say you have boundaries. I would love to know, what are said boundaries? Like, what are they? Oh, I don't know. So I don't know. I'm just literally asking, what would be his actual boundaries? Because at the current moment, it seems like it seemed to be a very floating, sliding scale of boundaries, in my opinion. I mean, he's handing kids food. He was eating a mandarin orange. You could clearly see that he passed one to somebody. You came with hair care products to get your hair done while you were at school. We got the Komodo dragon, the bearded lizard that he had on his lap. Kids are petting the thing while it's on his lap. What is your actual boundaries? I'm just wondering.
Hair? Bro, it's hair. But in the rare case a student does overstep a boundary, it is my duty, it is my obligation to correct the behavior. Again, not all teachers are trying to take advantage of minors. A side note, because I just watched this back.
Okay, because he's gonna keep going somewhere else. Nobody's saying that you were, sir. I do ask questions though. What is your actual boundaries? What are the boundaries that if a student does overstep them, that you'll correct the behavior? What is it? What is it? I don't know. I don't know. Mr. Whitaker's was, we don't hug. If you need a hug, we're going to send you across the hallway to another teacher's class. I'll send you to a female teacher's class. You can go get a hug. You need a hug? I'll text her and say, hey, Miss Butler, hey, Smalls, hey, so-and-so's coming to get a hug. And come get a hug. Absolutely. But Mr. Whitaker doesn't hug anybody. That's it. It's really that easy.
And I look like I'm bald. I got cornrows. I just got a big ass forehead. But anyway, as I mentioned in the video, I don't have kids of my own, so my students are literally my children.
That's the problem. That is the problem. You don't have your own children. So I'm going to go on a limb because I did watch his videos. He doesn't have a wife or a girlfriend either. So you don't have anybody that you are that's going to live past you. He has a dog, a pit bull. You don't have anybody that you are a legacy. You don't have anybody that you're fostering and growing and building a relationship with. Sir, you're going to close your eyes for the last time, and a stranger will close your eyes. That should be frightening. That should be sad to consider that you don't want and you're not trying to be in a life partner marital relationship with a young lady and your own little people. So when you pass on, nobody will carry your name. Nobody will remember you. Okay.
I love these kids as if they were my own. Very last thing I want to do to my children is take advantage of them and harm them in any way.
But you don't have your own children.
Not what we're going for. That's not why I'm a teacher. People are saying like, oh, you ain't got to defend yourself against... I mean, I know I don't, but I still got to put my 2 cents in. Because if you've been following me, you've seen or just scrolled through a few of my videos, you can see, like, me personally, my bullshit meter or my creep or weirdo meter or radar is like dialed in. I can spot fake ass energy or a creep ass dude from a mile away.
What does that mean? What makes somebody a creep? Do creeps get their hair done by children? I'm just wondering. I don't know. Because I don't think that this behavior is really super professional. I do see it as a little bit problematic. So what is the actual behavior that causes your radar to go off, sir? I don't know. What is it?
Energy never lies. So the real no. Not only is my creep radar dialed in, these girls, their radars are also dialed in. They're all just not these clueless girls running around with their, like, you know, heads or chicken with their heads cut off. If they get any weird ass vibes from anybody, especially a grown man, they're going to keep their distance every time. I've literally experienced this, seen some of my students do this very thing. If they feel like you're a creep, bro, they're not getting close to you. They're not going to talk to you, let alone take your hair out. As far as it being unprofessional.
Nobody's saying, I don't think, and again, I really think that sadly, and to the point that I'm making, I do believe that he's had issues with the school before. They did not just fire him. Most people that are in education can tell you they don't just fire you on Tuesday because you did something bad on Monday. That doesn't usually happen. They usually have to have a case. And I'm pretty certain if we were able to see his file, there's some problems in there. I guarantee you there's some things that rhyme with insubordination. I guarantee you that he's been told about professionalism before. I guarantee you that they didn't. This is not the first time that he's done something and therefore they fired him. That's not the case at all. It can't be. So the reason I'm saying that and the reason I bring that up is because he's acting very put off, as if the concerns are completely foreign. Like, what do you mean? What are you talking? I cannot understand. Where are you getting this from? Sir, why are you acting like that? I guarantee you, if he goes back and looks at his first video of him live streaming in class and having some kids doing something that maybe seemed a little bit out of pocket, he's probably seen this comment before. Why are you surprised, sir? I don't get it.
I can see that a little bit. Oh, what if there were visitors? Bro, it was a Friday. At the end of the day, 10 minutes before dismissal time. Work is done for the week. Work is done for the day. Fridays are usually our chill days. If they work and do what they're supposed to do Monday through Thursday, Friday I usually give them a day where they could just chill. But we didn't chill this Friday. We did presentations. And then after, I said if they did a good job, we can chill. And during that time, right before dismissal, I was going to get my hair taken out. What else did I miss? Oh, admin, parents, well aware of my social media presence. They're well aware of they love my content.
Please understand, please. This is where the lack of professionalism and lack of awareness, and dare I say, reading the room really comes into play. Somebody can like your stuff and will absolutely still go. They can actually laugh at it, key, hit the little thumbs up button like 34 of you all have already done, and they can still walk their butts right into the principal's office and say, how dare Mr. White do X, Y, Z, A, B, C. And your admin could be like, let me see this video. Man, that video's hilarious. And they can laugh and get a knee slap and all that kind of stuff and march themselves right down to your office and say, you need to take that video down. You need to call Miss Bumblebee and apologize for what you did in class. You need to call Miss Caterpillar and let her know that you will not do that again. And they laughed at it too. They thought it was great. Please do not take that somebody likes your stuff and they're in your admin role and position, and in a leadership role and position as an admin or whatnot, or even a parent, and that's okay. Please, that's what I'm saying. His lack of professionalism, his lack of professional meter is off the charts. That's what's off the chart.
My principal is constantly talking about my videos, even in staff meetings. Oh, this is the viral guy. His TikTok, he's going viral every time, all the time. Parents,
I guarantee you. Not only because he got fired, but I can guarantee you that principal is not saying that in an affirming way. He's not saying it as in like, oh, keep it going. He's saying probably keep it up because I'm building a case against you. I promise you, he's not doing this to support you, my guy. He's not. It's not happening like that.
Time they see me, Mr. White, you're like a comedian. I love your videos.
Most
of the students you see in my videos, their parents literally signed media release forms so they could be in my TikTok and in my Instagram videos.
I'm sure. And I guarantee you they signed the media release forms and they called the newspaper and said that you were abusing their kid. They called down to the school board if this is not if this is a charter school in a school district, they called out to the school board and raised absolute Cain. I promise you. And you know I'm telling the truth because the rascal got fired. So we know I'm not making it up. Again, his inability to read the room, in my opinion, is more than enough. Literally, I could have started right here and that could have been the end of it. You don't even understand the room that you're in. And you don't understand Again, these people might have been smiling in your face all the time. They want to take your place. Them backstabbers, backstabbers. They smile in your face.
Of course, if we have visitors at the school, no, I'm probably not going to be getting my hair taken out because that would be dumb. Edmund does a good job at letting us know, like, oh, we're going to have this person in the school, or this group is coming, blah, blah, blah. Make sure you look the part, wear some school gear, rocked out your school attire. None of that on that day. So, yeah. And literally, when I was to get my hair taken out, the principal came in. He came in the room. He saw what was going on. He saw the operation. It walked right out. I didn't get a call or text. Mr.
Anybody that's been in education before knows that was probably the straw that broke the camel's back. We're going to back that up one more time because they smile in your face.
Edmund does a good job at letting us know, like, oh, we're going to have this person in the school, or this group is coming, blah, blah, blah. Make sure you look the part, wear some school gear, rocked out your school attire. None of that on that day. So, yeah. And literally, when I was to get my hair taken out, the principal came in. He came in the room. He saw what was going on. He saw the operation. It walked right out. I didn't get a call or text. Mr. White, I need to talk to you about this. Or the next day or today when I came to school, like, hey, this parent saw this. They're trying. Bro, they do not care. They love this. They love it.
Then why did they fire you?
And as far as it being unprofessional, like I said, I can see that. But again, some of our views of professionalism is stuck in the late 1900s. These are the same people that think like, oh, you're not going to get a job if you got tat. Bro, arms tatted, legs tatted. I'm literally tatted up like the subway in Harlem. One thing I pride myself on is being 100% authentically, unapologetically myself. I had this for
and you know what? Kudos for that. Kudos for being 100% unapologetically, authentically yourself. That's perfectly fine. But recognizing that there are certain rooms that you have to, the yourself that you present needs to be slightly different is not saying that you're not authentic. You're just saying that, you know what? When I go to church, I probably shouldn't behave like this. When I'm at a board meeting, I should probably behave a little bit differently. When I'm at the basketball court with my bros, I'm going to behave another way. That's not being inauthentic, because I really hope you're not going to behave the exact same way that you do on the basketball court, at church, or in court, or in a board meeting. I would hope that you would behave slightly differently. I don't think that's not being inauthentic. That's recognizing the proper decorum for place upon place. People like this want everybody to accept them wherever, and the problem is they don't, and they don't have to. They don't have to accept you. And even though your admin walked in there, I guarantee you that principal, if this happened exactly like he's telling it, that principal walked in there and looked around and said, this rascal is doing what I told him to stop doing. Hey, take care, Mr. White, and went down there and called HR and said, can I get rid of this guy? He's a liability. He's a problem for my school, because Miss Bumblebee, Miss Caterpillar, and Miss Ladybug have been calling for 3 weeks, and I've been putting them off. But I walk in his room, and he's live streaming them taking his hair out. Can I fire him? And they say, well, yeah, you've sent us several documents, several instances. You've had conversations with him. You wrote him up, this, that, and the other. You can fire him. And now we have him fired.
That I live by, which is if someone is not doing anything that is harming themselves, someone, or something, mind your damn business. You will never be criticized by someone doing more than you. Only
actually you can. You really can. And yeah, I'm pretty sure your principal criticized you when they fired you. I'm just saying.
Someone doing less. If you got haters and people talking shit about what you're doing, most likely you're probably doing something right. I had a conversation with my mom a while back because a similar incident like this happened. Posted a video and there's a few people, oh, it's inappropriate.
See what I mean? This is not the first time that this has happened. And I'm guaranteeing you, if he has better than 100 students, because he's a middle school teacher, he's got 100 students that he's responsible for. And let's just pretend, for laughs and giggles, each student has a mom and a dad, or a mom and an aunt, a mom and a grandparent that's related to him. So they got almost 200 adults to manage, plus the 100 students to manage. No, I'm sorry. There's no way in the world every last one of them is cool with what you're doing. It's just not possible. It's not possible. And if you go back and watch when the kids were impersonating the teacher, there was one where the little girl said, "Hey, can I see your feet?" or something like that. And everybody laughed and the camera zoomed in on that little girl. She looked very, very uncomfortable. Now, I'm not saying that there's anything going on, but what I am pointing out is that she didn't look like she was having a good time. She didn't look like she was enjoying it as much as everybody else was, kikiing and knee slapping. What I mean by that is, do you not think that girl might have went home and told her mom that she didn't feel comfortable in class? And then that mom calls the principal, calls the school board, calls the newspaper. These all happen. Community activists. I mean, all of that can be a reality. Call another teacher, because that's her line sister, down the hallway and be like, "Girl, what's your boy doing down the hallway? What are you doing?" Trust me, not everybody's cool with this. And the idea that everybody is cool with it and therefore it's just a few haters, to me is just nose blind and it's silly.
Just because of the type of relationship I have with my students. But she said that you basically might as well get used to stuff like this happening, or people saying stuff like this, because you are a young black man, you are handsome, you're attractive, and you have a good relationship with your students. So people are always going to try to reach and make something out of nothing. But that concludes this rant. I do appreciate all the people who are supportive, and they, like I said, energy never lies. The real know what's up. Y'all can feel it. As far as the 5%ers are concerned, I'd recommend unpacking some of the stuff that y'all got going on, because clearly it's affecting your ability to just see the world for what it is. Love ya. Bye. I mixed all the...
Okay, that made no sense at all. Now, he did a TikTok after he got fired, and this is him reading the text messages from his students. We already got problems already. Houston, we already got more problems. Now, I don't know if this is true text messages or if these are like DMs in TikTok or comments on TikTok. I don't know. But I think it's fair to say that we have problems. And just listen to, again, this is the man who doesn't want his own children, who doesn't want a wife to marry and have children with. Listen to his, again, you can be connected with your students. Nobody's saying that, so don't hear what I didn't say. But just hear this and notice what's happening.
The controversy that has come from this video that I posted. I wanted to come on here and read some of the messages that my students are sending me during. Some of the messages that they've been sending me. During this time. Hey, bestie. I really hope that you see this message. How are you? I hope that you're okay. Our class misses you so much, and we really want you to know that we love you and we miss you so much and can't wait for you to come back. I can't believe that taking somebody's hair out is such a big deal, and it makes me so mad that people make little things big things. I want you to know that the class and others got your back, and we will always stand behind you and up for you no matter what happens. We got you. Again, we miss you and we love you so much, and can't wait for you to come back. I wish that this never happened because it feels like we're losing you. Come back soon. Don't be gone too long, because if you're not back by Monday, I know something's up. But anyways, I also made sure that the classroom was clean before we left. Love you, missed you. Love you, miss you. See you later. Hi, Mr. White. We've been seeing all this stuff going on, and so has your other former students, and I just want you to know that we're standing with you.
I'm literally in my junior year of high school right now, and seeing all this, you were my and many others' favorite teacher. Many of Many of your students and former students are doing our best to advocate for you. You're one of the few teachers that made me really feel like I had a voice and opinion. And not only that you made learning fun and encouraging, at the end of the day, some people won't understand that some adults genuinely have a good heart. And have a good heart when it comes to dealing with children, and that's probably never going to change. But we know parents, staff, etc. None that there knows that there has never been anything weird going on, and that there was never any insinuation of that. The people that actually matter knows where your heart is, and that's all that matters. During COVID, you quite literally helped me through my 8th grade year by just being an adult I knew I could go to if I was having any problems. Continue being you, and don't let anyone change that. For the GOAT. What's up, Mr. White? I know that your situation may not be looking the best, but just know that you'll get through it, and we all know your real intentions. Remember, Remember your Bruce Lee quote. Remember your Bruce Lee quote. Can't wait for your return. P.S. Your Air Maxes are in the boys' locker room. I seen them today after practice, and I didn't know what to do with them, so I just put them in there. My Bruce Lee quote is, if you have an emotional reaction to anything someone says or does to you, means that person can control you, and you should not be controlled by anyone. Dear Mr. White, Dear Mr. White, we hope that you're doing well during these tough times. We hope that you're doing well during these tough times. We wanted to let you know that we appreciate you as a teacher, as our teacher, and we hope the best for you in your future. We hope you come back, and we want you to keep your head up, like Tupac said. In appreciation of you, we cleaned up your class. Thank you for all that you do for us. Don't listen to those haters. We love you, Mr. White. Lock in before we tweak out. And P.S. we also fed your kids for you. And my kids are my animals that are at the school, and log in before I tweak out is something that I say to them when they get on my nerves. So thank you.
And though I feel sorry for him, he brought this on himself. This is self-inflicted. Nobody required him to lower the professionalism of his class to the point that he's texting students, he's having DMs with students, that he is having students doing his hair in class, and so many other things. We didn't show the video of them painting his nails or playing basketball. I mean, I think we can probably give some grace on playing basketball and throwing darts. He did go out and play soccer with the boys after school, that makes sense. Those are things that are in the realm of what teachers usually do, and such like that. Doing nails in class, getting your hair done in class. I'm sorry, sir, that's not appropriate. And I think he already knew that. I just really believe he was already warned about this. He mentioned earlier that his principal walked in while he was doing that and didn't say anything. Maybe looked in, Maybe he got a notification. Somebody mentioned it. Maybe he got a notification that you were live in class and he wanted to see, like, is this dude really getting his hair done in class? Is he really doing that? He walked in to poke his head in there and said, he really is getting his hair done. And then he went back up to his office and sure, he might have called HR. He might have called he probably called HR, probably called the school lawyer. If it's a charter school, make sure, hey, can I get rid of this guy now? He's literally online right now doing hair, getting his hair done on live stream. Because again, he was live streaming it. These are unforced errors. You are creating your own problems, my guy. That's not anybody else's fault. And all of that bravado, all of that big chestedness, when you were in the car talking smack about parents being weird and so on and so forth, you came back and you realized that, yeah, they didn't. I guarantee you some parents had problems with that. And the admin. It had to be because they fired you. So somebody had to be okay with it, because otherwise, again, like I gave the example of the rock star. If you're a rock star in your company and everybody loves you and nobody has a problem with you, and everybody thinks that everything you touch is gold, they're not trying to fire you. If they fired you, they're okay with letting you go. They can find another one tomorrow. But yeah, that was just wild. So I appreciate y'all. Willie Doc, thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much. I got to drop the Rico. I haven't been dropping the Rico tonight. What am I doing? Oh, that was really low, Jason. All right, let's try it again. Rico. All right. Super chat. Thank you so much, Willie Doc, for the $2 super chat. Just because your background music is better. Well, thank you, my friend. I appreciate it, man. There's something wrong with his music for sure. But I just thought that was such an interesting topic, and I appreciate all of y'all who reached out to me and asked me, was I going to talk about it? Actually, my niece called me early this morning and sent me the link and said, Uncle, are you going to talk about this? And I said, I got to go ahead and talk about it, I guess, because my niece asked for it, so I got to talk about it. But I did think it was really weird, and I saw lots of comments in here, and I'm just going to I'm going to zoom back up and we'll just comment in. Let me know what you think about it down in the chat as well. Feel free to grab that in. Let us go right here. Yeah. And Michelle says it right here. It's the parents' job to protect their children. And I don't think he has that. And again, you can feel like the parents are not doing a good job. You can feel like the parents could be doing better. You can feel like the parents have the misunderstanding, but it's their child. You gotta, at the end of the day, when the smoke clears, Mr. and Ms. Caterpillar, Mr. and Ms. Butterfly are the parents. So you don't usurp that. And it seems like he didn't understand it. I guarantee you, I would love to have a conversation with him. I guarantee you, he's had other problems with parents before. This is not the first time he's had a problem with a parent. Things that are non-sexual occurrences are still considered inappropriate. That's it. I can have an inappropriate joke it could just be an inappropriate joke. It just doesn't have to be right. It doesn't only have to be S to be inappropriate. This is such an oversimplification and cope by this man. Thank you so much, Jillian. Fantastic summary. That's it. I mean, the copium is strong with this one for sure. He's not taking his hair down. And again, let's see. Yes, children should never be friends to an adult. These aren't nieces. It's not comparable at all. Jillian, again, I can't disagree. I can't. You know what? I'll even say this. Watch this, watch this, watch this. Let's say that this guy lived in an apartment. He lives in an apartment. And let's say that his students, several of the students are living in the same apartment building, an apartment complex as him. If this happened off school grounds, I probably wouldn't even care. Who cares? Because he seemed like he has zero professionalism. So he goes and hangs out with his families on the weekend, okay, or whatever like that. He spends Friday night, watch Friday night fights with his families in his community. And they do his hair? Okay, fine. It's just the fact, sir, that you live streamed it from school. There's the problem. Again, the fact that had to be explained to him just is really telling. That's the part that's really telling. My dad would have rolled up to that school so quick if this happened back in the day. Amen. My daughter loved trying to braid my hair. She hated me trying to braid her hair, though. There you go. Like mine, yeah. No, no. They know my daughters have never tried to put makeup on me. Never. When my beard was longer, we would pull it and put a ponytail, but that'd probably be the most extent of it. We've never tried to put a wig on me. Why? Don't you have a sister? Do that with your sister. Do that with your mom. The Lord has blessed me with so many sister-in-laws. They can go around and just paint each other's faces till they're blue in the face. I guess literally blue in the face. I mean, really, like I don't need. Why? Tawanda said she wants the cup. You like my dear woke Christian cup? Okay, I like it. I like it. If I told you it was a sticker, would you be mad at me? It's just a sticker. All right. That was his lesson plan for the day. Now, I promise you, I've had principals that if you did something like that, they would have wanted to see your lesson plans and see, did you have downtime budgeted into your lesson plan? So he was, again, so I don't think having the girls take my hair down would have been in there, but it definitely would have been looking like, hey, did you have from 2 o'clock to 2:30 plan to do nothing or, have downtime or whatnot? If it wasn't in the lesson plans, it could be problematic for sure. He got these girls out of their other classes for this nonsense. I told you. Why are other teachers sending kids to him to take down his hair? Probably because they just want to lessen the amount of kids in the class. When you have students and somebody says, "Hey, can 2 of your students come and help me file books?" or "Can 2 of your students come to help me arrange my class library?" Yes, they sure can. How many do you want? You want 2? I'll send you 9. Yes, you want to get rid of your kids, especially if you had a busy week. If it's testing week and everybody's driving you crazy, it's the 100 days of May, which is basically the end of the school year, and you just like, it feels like it's 100 days in the month of May. And somebody asks for you to say, "Hey, can you send me little Johnny and little Sally?" Absolutely. Goodbye. Go. Mr. White wants you down there. Trust me. I've seen it. Side note, why old boy look like sorry. Side note, why old boy look like he and Mike Todd could be brothers? I did see that. I could see that. He did look like Mike Todd's sibling. Absolutely. All good till some kid says, "You did something inappropriate, sir. You supposed to be smarter than that." That's the problem, Paul. I feel like these are unforced errors. You don't have to do this. And you put yourself in a position where somebody can be uncomfortable. Matter of fact, let me show you what I mean. Let me bring that video back. I want to show you this little section.
Meet Marquise White. At least that's what I think his name is.
Okay, there's a section right here. Right here. Where they're impersonating him. And where is it? Right. Okay, we'll just watch it again. And I just want you to see and just tell me.
TikTok page he has.
Right there. That girl does not look happy. They are laughing and keying it up. And that little young lady right there does not look happy. I don't know what they said to her. Like,
Alana, so we looking at feet?
Alana, so we looking at feet. I don't know what that means. I don't know what was going on, what he's looking at. But something, but look at the little girl's face. Watch her face. Everybody's laughing. They're having a good time. And she does not look comfortable. I don't know what happened. I don't know what the context of that is. But do you think that girl does not look like she's having a good time? She does not look like she's enjoying this, even a monicum as much as everybody else is. You don't think that little girl would go back home and say, "Mom, Dad, that man was making fun of me"? Or he let them make fun of me in class? I'm just saying. So, no, I agree, man. All right, let's keep this going. Good comments, though. I'm not well, first of all, I don't have tattoos. I'm not a supporter of tattoos. I don't think anybody's body was made more beautiful by tattoos. That being the case, I'm sure that there's tons of tattoos in schools today, and I don't know about covering them up or wearing long sleeves all the time. So that was a sticky wicket. My school teachers were professional, Rashida said. Absolutely. Shout out to all the professional teachers. I'm catching up. So many red flags, Samantha says. There are so many. I should have been putting red flags in this for sure. I had a PE teacher like that. He pushed me and I appreciated it. Absolutely. Shout out to Jim Hogan. God bless him, rest in peace. But again, like, you can still be professional. You can still be authentic. You can still be caring for your students, and you don't have to lower the standards. James Hogan didn't let one standard get lowered for Jason. Matter of fact, he raised the standard and made me even more. If I wanted to stay out of trouble, if I wanted to stay on the good side, I would have to raise up even more. But I never thought he was cool. I never thought, I mean, truth be told, I mean, my own dad, I don't think my dad is cool by any means, shape, or measure. But my dad was I believe he's authentic. I do believe he cares about me. But I never, under any pressure, thought that he was cool. I never did. That's probably the last thing you would call my father is cool. Now my kids might say I'm cool. Maybe I've gotten soft. My kids might say I'm cool. They might not. They might say I'm a terrible guy. But they will say this. They might say I'm cool, but they won't say I strove to be cool and lowered my standards in order to be considered cool to them. All right. His excuses are garbage, Tawanda says. And hey, amen to that. Put a trash, I gotta put a trash can in an emoji for that. Because that's the truth. I mean, his excuses are hot garbage. Let me find a garbage emoji. I put that trash can in there for that. Because that's exactly what it is. It's trash. If I could find it. I can't because I can't. Where's the garbage can? That's craziness. I don't see the garbage can. Interesting. Okay, on to the next one. All right, those young girls could be crushing it on They could be crushing on Mr. Cool Teacher, and that is dangerous. I mean, there you go. Maybe they don't violate the boundaries. Remember, he was saying if they cross the boundary, maybe they don't cross the boundaries. Maybe they just are out of bounds. They're children, absolutely. They're kids. They're not your besties. They're kids, absolutely. I don't know what the average age is with Rashida, but I would guarantee they're probably the same age as him. When I was a teacher, I had parents that were my age, parents of students that were my age, and I totally can get it. That is exactly what I thought, Tawanda says, Paul. I remember my daughter was young. She was crushing on the youth pastor, wrote him a love letter. I was livid, but he was nothing like that. Very strict and married. There we go. What the heck is cussing? And this is something else I noticed also, Patricia Whittener. His language really guaranteed to me that he probably talked like this in class. And I watched a lot of TikToks, and he's profane. He uses a lot of profanity in his speech, to the point that I'm like, you probably didn't turn that off in class. You probably did use profanity with the students. And that's probably, again, something that got out there to the parents, to the community, to your administration. And that's why you're on the outside looking in. We do have to let students know that they're safe. And my students always knew that Mr. Whitaker, you did not hug Mr. Whitaker, but if anybody came to do any hurt, harm, or danger to any of us, Mr. Whitaker was going to make sure that you were safe. You never did a student of mine ever have to worry about that. Never. But on the same note, we don't hug Mr. Whitaker. There we go. And we definitely don't walk up on him. We don't walk up on him. We don't hug Mr. Whitaker. That's it. That was it. That was very simple. I don't know if this is 3 red flags. I stopped counting. I just stopped counting. I ain't gonna even lie. I don't even know. I just stopped counting because the inner child was wild. Okay, that was wild for sure. Yeah, I don't think. I think that's the right thing to do in this world. is to be able to tell students that they have the right to say no, and they don't have the right to touch people that don't want to be touched. That's it. Your inner child should have been dealt with. Amen. Why do see? I don't know, Addie. I don't know if that was truly his number, because if you look at the way he's reading it, he's scrolling up, so it looks like maybe like comments on a TikTok or whatnot. I do admit I did not scroll through all his comments, so I don't know where this might have been. So that being the case, I'm thinking maybe they were just DMs in the comments, but still, that's not appropriate. I think the boundaries for appropriateness have to be redrawn, or the line needs to be darkened, if you will, because of the new world that we're in. Of course, when I was a child, there's nothing like social media. We would never even have dreamed or fathomed something like social media. That doesn't mean that the professionalism needs to degrade, but rather we need to draw even deeper lines and say, teachers don't have students following them on Instagram. Teachers don't follow parents on Instagram and stuff of that nature. To me, it just seems like it would make a lot more sense, and it would be to keep the gulf between teacher and student really clear. The boundaries are super clear versus this friend teacher thing, that this brother teacher going on, that is the lines are just terrible. I had one of my teacher's numbers in high school because I was the babysitter for her and her husband when they went on date night. Okay. And each parent their own. I don't think I would not have my kids doing that. That's just me. These new teachers are way too comfortable. I don't feel sorry for him, Melinda says, and I agree. You never give your students your number. I did have parents that had my phone number when I taught in public school as well as private, because if I called you and said, little Johnny or little Sally is cutting up in class, I needed you to answer. So if I called you, there was a reason why I called you. But again, students don't have contact like that. But parents, I would communicate with parents, because you just didn't have, like, one of my schools, my first school, we didn't have a phone in the classroom. So if we had to call a parent, we had to literally go to the office. That's not conducive. That wasn't going to work. I mean, now I have a Google Voice number. I would have given that Google Voice number, but they did have my actual real live phone number. However, there was a reason why. And again, this was an adult, not a student, that had the number. I have 5, and that was a no-no for me. I don't know if you meant 5 red flags or 5 children, but all of them, I got you. My dad wondered why I am homeschooling. Yeah, I totally get it. Most childless people think they know how to raise children and do it better than the actual parents. And this is something else, and I do not want to turn this into a rant about education, but education is one of the very few fields where you don't have to be a practitioner of the skill in order to have an opinion, and dare I even say be a professional, and dare I even say a sought after voice in that field. You can just have a theory. You can have a theory about education. Everybody learns better if they wear a tan, big green egg hat. And if you're convincing enough, you can have no research. You can have nothing to verify, nothing to support that theory. But you'll have school districts buying tan, big green egg hats to put on each and every student. And you literally just made that up. It could be a case. I'm being very, very facetious, but I think you understand. Education is one of the few fields that you can literally not be even classically trained to educate. You can have never taken a teaching course, and you could have written a book, and you can get away with your book being promoted and pushed in schools, and you have never been classically trained and never taught a student. Never. Everything you've done in some kind of controlled environment with various and sundry stopgaps in the way you've never been responsible for 22 and 24 little 8-year-olds. You've never done that, but you got a book and you got an opinion. That's amazing to me. He could have took his own hair out, like, absolutely. Like, there was no reason why he didn't do it. He could have been sitting there literally all day, taking out his braids, taking out his locks, untwisting it on his own. There's no reason he couldn't have done that. And also, if you think about it, now, I talked to somebody earlier today. He said it was the last 10 minutes of the day, and there was 5 girls doing his hair for the last 10 minutes. So 5 times 10 minutes is 50 minutes. We'll round it up to an hour just for easy math. So he's trying to tell me that during the day, he couldn't have found a true hour where he can put both his hands on top of his head and pull out the braids in his hair. I'm just wondering. I don't see, that makes no sense to me. This is the mindset that recent college graduates, they don't live in reality and they are entitled. There you go, Melinda. I don't disagree. Bro, those little girls are not your sisters. They're not. And see, that's the part, like, at no point would I, and again, sometimes in the Black community, we give, like, we call people play cousins and play sisters and play brothers. But I'm aware, like, my kids call all of my Morehouse brothers uncle, and they call all of their children their siblings, their cousins. But we understand that they know that they're not related to them. But it's just easy math for them to say, oh, this is my cousin Elijah. Oh, this is my Uncle Craig. They do that all the time. And we have no problem with it. But they are aware that they're not related to these people. They're aware of that truth. So, and they call their wives aunt. So they'll say, like, Aunt Yolanda or Aunt Tanisha all the time. She called him Zesty. I'm not going to argue with you. I can't argue with you. They think that males can be free to be feminine. Right. So they're not striving to make these men more masculine, but rather less masculine. Again, I mean, this is his argument. How is he upset with men saying it's inappropriate? Those are fathers who care about their children. And he is not a father, nor does he have children. Tawanda's right on the money. You're right there. No argument for me. Kids need to be taught to keep their hands to themselves. Absolutely. I'm concerned with him defending these things without being prompted to do so. Defending things without being prompted to do so. I think he's, and this is, Rashid, I got you now. Thank you so much. I think he's been, the problem is he has been confronted on these. I think he's literally just recounting arguments and comments that he's heard in the past because it's not the first time. That's why, again, I think he's heard this before. He's had problems before. He knows it's sketchy, Costa Chameleon said. That's why he's defending live streaming. There you go. I would never have imagined thinking about doing live streaming as a teacher. I think if, like, for example, if we were doing a project, maybe I would want to, I guess that would be a benefit. Like, oh, we could stream it. So if your mom and dad can't make it, they can see it later on, or they can watch it from work because they can't get across town. I guess that would probably be kind of neat, kind of cool. But just streaming to be streaming, like streaming me teaching or streaming me literally being off task because y'all are paying me for a work day and 10 minutes of the day I'm spending with somebody doing my hair. Yeah, I just don't know. Yeah, I don't know how that would work. I just can't imagine that. That would just not be, I can't imagine what would you be thinking. He didn't even have that many braids. Why couldn't he have done it himself? I don't know. I'm happy he filmed it too, because now we have more things to talk about and look at the inappropriate behavior that kind of gets escalated in this society. Waited to see enough of this guy. He's hiding some big secrets. I think he definitely has some problems. That's for sure. I watched, like I said, a lot of his TikToks, and there's some problems there for sure. Thank you, Kevin Briggins. Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Briggins was in the house. Thank you so much. He's from the Off Code podcast. If you haven't checked him out, please go check out what Kevin's doing over at Off Code. Thank you so much, Kevin. I appreciate you, brother, for stopping by. Tawanda said, I don't like people touching my hair. Keep your hands to yourself. And sir, it's weird. I agree. I mean, I don't have any hair. And let me just also say again, I'm not mad at the man because he got a full head of hair. Nope, not even a little bit. I ain't jealous either. He did play the black card. He had to play the black card. He had to, Paul. He had to. I see, that's the thing. Like, when I first taught, the media release was like videotapes and pictures. Now, I have no idea. I can only imagine what the new media release forms are for like modern day classrooms. I mean, because remember, Zoom was not a big deal when I retired. Zoom was literally, I retired right before COVID. So Zoom was not even like a super big deal in the classroom. Like now, Zoom is like ubiquitous. So I'm just wondering, like, what does that media release form looks like? The only men's hair I played in as a child was my dad and my older brothers. There you go. And I guarantee you probably did it at home with your dad or older brothers, not at school. That's the thing. It's very inappropriate. And see, I think somebody mentioned it. I'm sorry if I missed it. But like, this generation seems to not conceptualize that there are levels and things that are appropriate and things that should be done at certain times and things that shouldn't be done at said times. It just doesn't seem like they get it. And I'm sorry, I hated for the young man to be fired. And it does seem like he cared about education. And he probably was a decent teacher. I don't know. I have no reason to believe otherwise. The problem is you can still be a good person and a good teacher, good at your craft and still make bad decisions. And I think that's where he landed. Like he made a bad decision. He's made several bad decisions, and I don't think he's been called on the carpet about it. And then when he gets called on the carpet, it's a shock. Yikes. Okay. I see some good commentary, great commentary. All right, let's see. No one is accusing him, but this type of behavior can lead to other things. I agree. And I think he knew that, and he's trying to push the boundaries of what's appropriate, what's acceptable, how people perceive it. I really believe that's what he's trying to do. And again, if you go to his TikTok, he's got the little girls painting his nails. He's justifying it there and so on and so forth. And to me, I think it's evidence that, sir, you're missing it. The point is that this is not appropriate for you to be doing in the classroom environment with the students. Because again, I bet you nobody would have a problem if he had live streamed himself, just taking out his braids and he was like teaching distance learning, or everybody's working at the table working on book reports. And he said they had just finished reports or giving presentations. I'm sorry. So while they were giving presentations, he's taking out a braid. He writes down a grade. And then the next one, he's taking out a braid. He writes down a grade. Why could that not have happened? And you would be doing that on your own and not requiring the students to do it. I'm just wondering, like, why could you not have done that? Well, he could have done that. Why did you not do that is the question. That's what I'm not getting. All right, let us get this going. Let's see. His comments were wild. That's what I said. Sorry about that. His voice. He has zero discernment. Brigham says he has zero discernment and has taken zero accountability. These kids are his friends because his maturity levels is on par with theirs. Amen. Brigands, my goodness, my goodness. How about we avoid the appearance of impropriety? Hello, Susie. Absolutely. Because the odor of mendacity is all over this TikTok. Absolutely. I had to check some female students when I taught middle school from crossing certain proximity boundaries. And if I didn't, they would translate that into things that would cause me to lose my job. Thank you, Brian. And that's absolutely correct. I agree. It's too late by by then, they don't see boundaries. If you're faltering young girls. If you're faltering young girls, absolutely. They're not your kids. Say that again, Rashida. They're not your children. These are parents. These are somebody's children, and you are telling them how to raise them and what is appropriate and correct for them. That's a lap too far. That is a lap too far. Like, and that is correct. He's the teacher, so they can take down his hair. How? Like, how do you make that jump? Oh, then I'm the teacher. Go change my tire. Like, where is the stop? Where's the stop then? Yeah, get married, have your own children. I guarantee you, when he has his own children, if he has his own children, this kind of thought process will be very, very. He will scrutinize this TikTok, his own TikTok. All right. This is a great point from Samantha. I'm extremely suspicious of people who befriend anyone except the people in their own age and gender. I agree. Now I will say that I think it's okay to have friends, but I think we can have that discussion. But definitely they need to be of your own age cohort for sure. No question there at all. None whatsoever. All right, okay. How many boundaries have been crossed? I don't know. Because your average man, he didn't tell us even what his boundaries were. So I don't even know how he determines that they're crossed. I don't know. This grown man wants to befriend little girls. Yikes. I mean, I can't. He said it. He did. Wow, bro, you're so much BS. Young kids do a lot of stuff they think is cool because they ain't thinking like grown-ups. And they need us to be the grown-ups to tell them what is acceptable and appropriate. Because again, what I as a child thought was cool, James Hogan did not think was cool. And therefore, that was where the clash happened. But I was encouraged to raise up my thinking. I was encouraged to step up. And I believe I was made better because of it. But if James Hogan had lowered himself to my level, I don't know where I would be. Work shouldn't be done on Thursday. Work shouldn't be done on Thursday. I'm not certain I missed something, Rob. As a former middle school girl, I can tell you that strong critical thinking skills and light common sense were not named as things I possessed. Oh, sorry. Let me read that again. Thinking skills and a lick. I think you meant a lick of common sense were not things that I possess. Well, I'm glad, Rashida, that you have gathered a hold of it now as an adult, and I'm perfectly fine with that. Where are the videos of support from these admin fans and teachers? I agree. I think he misinterpreted people's support of him. Because even when he said that the admin, when he would be in staff meetings and say, oh, there's a TikToker, it doesn't sound like he's supportive. It sounds more like he's mocking you. Like, oh, you're TikToking because you're always probably got your phone out, or you always got your laptop camera facing you, so on and so forth. Oh, you're TikToking. It sounds like he's being facetious more than he's being supportive, in my opinion. And yeah, this is probably what the problem was. He saw you as a liability. And I agree. Let's keep this going. How old is he? I have no idea. But looking at him, I don't think he was above 30. If I found out he was 25, I wouldn't have been surprised. But he said he was a substitute for 4 years. So let's say that he came out of college or came out of high school, maybe worked a couple years and then started subbing. If he was 25, 26, somewhere around there, I wouldn't be surprised. Above 30, I would very much be surprised. Everything was okay until that principal came in. Again, it can't be, he even his nose blindedness of how other people perceived it, he can't read the room. He just can't read the room. He just cannot read the room. He's just a leftist. There you go. You're right. The principal probably got the notification that he was live. And he probably came in there, Mickey, and said, let me check this. Hold on. He looked on his phone, he looked on his computer and said, this dude is literally sitting there with these kids taking his hair out. Let me go look. He went and looked in the room, saw some kids playing darts. He saw some kids on the phone. He saw these other girls doing his hair. He looked in there and said, oh, hey. And he ran down there and called HR. Right. He never did say that. Admin said it was okay. And again, I promise you something has happened before and people are not cool with it. And again, if he had 100 students, that means he has at least 100 mamas or 100 parents, parent people involved, whether it be a mom or a dad or a grandparent or aunt, whatever, at least one. Everybody had one. You can't tell me that all 100 of those adults were A-okay with that behavior. I just can't believe that. I can't. And keep in mind, a very last thing, this school building was a K-8 school building. So they had little people as well as older people in the same building. So it seems like it might have been a northern school, but there are some southern schools that have that K-8 were literally basically elementary and middle school in the same building. Now I bring that up because that means there would be other people that are aware that the teacher down the hallway uses TikTok and live streams their class. There's just parents that are not cool with that. I mean, there's just parents that don't want their kids involved in that, and they might not have signed the permission slip, or their kid might have came home and said they didn't feel comfortable because Mr. White was doing this, that, and the third. There's just a lot of problems, and I hate it because I don't think he was taught to read the room correctly and understand what's going on. And Samantha said it. That's so inappropriate. There you go. All right, so looking through right here. Yeah, this is, I mean, it's true. We're really watching a grown man cry over a text from a minor. I don't know what to do. I mean, that's true. That's a reality. That's what we're watching. That's problematic. Those tears are because he got fired. I mean, especially if he knew that he was doing the wrong thing. He already knew, because when you go back to the first clip, he says, I'm going to stir the pot, because he got pushback from people from that video of getting his hair done. He got pushback on it. And so he puts it back up and says he's going to get all the smoke. He's going to get some stir the pot. Well, sir, you asked for attention. You got attention. You cannot be mad about that. You can't be mad about that. Y'all like that music he was playing. Clearly, y'all got some jokes about it. He was seeking attention, and he got attention. You just got to accept it. Like, if you want attention, then you have to accept that it might not be the exact flavor of attention that you wanted. It might not be the exact degree or temperature of attention that you wanted, but you got to accept it. You put it out there, you got to take exactly what you get. As we like to say, you get what you get, and you don't pitch a fit. And Rob makes a great point here. There's a man who has never been told no, or you are wrong. There you go. All right, let me make sure I had some great comments in here. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, he was big tough for a minute, then all of a sudden he lost his toughness. He was trash. It was trash. All them trash cans in there. Thank y'all so much. What's going on, Chris? K-Dub from All Things Theology. Stopped through a little bit earlier. Appreciate you, man. Thank y'all so much for stopping by and hollering. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for shouting them out. Good conversation. A lot of good family reunion going on in here. Wait, who made 50 videos crying? Was it him? I hope not. No, he didn't make that many. I only saw one. Lord, goodness gracious. Maybe when he grows up, he might be able to hold a good job. Hopefully he learned a lesson from this. And I agree, Mickey. Again, I just think he's a child of this generation where social media is ubiquitous. And I don't think he had the foundational skills, if you will, to separate professional from social. I think those are just two areas that really just don't, he didn't understand truly that there's a divide between me as a teacher and you as a student. And there should be a divide there. There's a divide between me as a teacher and you as a parent and you as an admin. There should be levels of different, there should be different approaches to it, but they all should be professional. They should all be above board, above table, and not you squatting and sitting on the table, but really they should all be above table. And nobody should be able to look at something and say, hey, and this, hey, this person is out of line, out of pocket. So therefore, probably not gonna be live streaming my lessons just in general. Maybe if I'm doing something special, maybe, and I'll send a link to the parents so they can see it. Maybe I can see there being some benefit to that. And like, hell, we're going to be doing some presentations and we'll allow the kids to live stream it. And if you're not able to come, you can watch it, on our private YouTube channel. I can give you that. I think that's kind of neat. That would probably be okay. But just watching in general, just like my general class activities, and I'm streaming them on TikTok just for no other reason but to be putting them on TikTok. That's problematic. And I hope that he learned something from that. That's why I was called the pop-up mom. I didn't play that. All right, I hear you, Tawanda. I got you. Y'all keep me up too late. I'm sorry, Erna. I apologize. But I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Thank you. One video of a grown man crying about missing children is too many. And I agree with that 100%. So I pray this guy actually figures it out and hopefully makes better decisions if he's allowed. I didn't find out, if he was truly fired. I didn't find out if he was truly removed from the classroom indefinitely. So he would no longer had his teaching certificate removed. So therefore, hopefully he's able to find a good gig, maybe outside the classroom or some another field, and just makes better decisions, because he probably is a decent person. He just makes super duper bad decisions because, again, he's a child or product of this generation, which just seems to deal with social media and boundaries and professionalism just in a different way. It's totally different from what most of us, those old heads, were doing. So, that was it. But wow, that was a lot. But I appreciate you. Mickey, thank you so much. It's very kind of you. Mickey said this was a good show. Lots of hearts, lots of love. I appreciate y'all. I'm really glad that you enjoyed that. And I thought it would be good since, again, as a former classroom teacher, I thought it might be something worthwhile to talk about because a lot of people were talking about it. So hopefully you all will have some good conversation about it as well. Feel free to let me know what you thought about it down in the comments below. I am going to let you know that I am going to be going to Morehouse's graduation on Sunday. I'm giving y'all a heads up because I'm going to be live streaming it. And I would love for you all to tap in and see what's going on. I'm going to try my best to be there for the whole thing. So we'll get the whole experience, if you will, and give you an opportunity to kind of see behind the scenes. And I'm definitely going to be doing some man on the street, definitely going to be connecting with some brethren and asking some questions to see what they think and all that kind of stuff. So that'll be fun on Sunday. I'm just giving you a heads up. And I'm telling you now, if anything happens and goes a different direction as it relates to graduation, prayerfully, nothing will happen. It will be a gigantic nothing burger and everything goes off without a hitch. If it does go a different direction, however, I will be coming back on Sunday evening and doing a recap of what actually happened, if anything happens. So I'm just letting you know ahead of time, I will be live streaming graduation. If something happens at graduation, once I get home and safe, I will be doing a live stream Sunday evening about whatever happens. Because I know the news will be talking about it, because I'm picking up a vibe that people sadly want something to happen at Morehouse's graduation. And sadly, some of them are my brothers. But I know the news will be speaking on that if something does in fact happen. And I just decide, hey, I'll just make sure my voice is heard, what I actually see, what I actually saw, and such of that nature. But just letting y'all know ahead of time that's the plan for this coming Sunday the 19th. And I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much, everybody. Moderators, thank you so much. The best live chat on the planet. Thank you all very much for everything that you all did. And we will do this again real soon. And whatever that means, wherever we end up, if that's tomorrow, Lord willing, or sooner. Now, hopefully it can't be sooner than tomorrow. We only got 30 minutes. But I think y'all get it. I appreciate all of y'all. Thank you so much. We're going to end with this. Lamb's grace, thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. So everybody, until next time, grace and peace. Take care.